Are you smarter than a millennial? This technology game got serious, didn't it? So, if you are a baby boomer in particular who's still in the workforce, or you're like me and you're part of the gig economy, then you're going to need a set of skills to keep yourself occupied. Are you smarter than a millennial? If your computer skills are lacking, you need to watch this video. If you want upward mobility on your job, you need to watch this video. If you are part of the gig economy, like me, then you need to watch this video. We need to talk about technology and how it's changing everything. At the end of the video, you're going to get bonus content. So I'm giving you a list of software and platforms that you should consider learning. If you don't know already, you should be comfortable using them. I'm also giving you some apps to get you going, some suggestions there, so that you can upgrade your skills a bit and be more comfortable with the technology that you may be trying to learn or about to start learning. And the third thing you're going to get are some suggestions so that you can jumpstart and find yourself more interested in technology. It'll be a great conversation, I promise. I like the gig economy. I think it's great. I enjoy a flexible work schedule. I have the freedom to do the things that I want to do when I want to do them. So on any random Tuesday, I can just take myself out to lunch and watch the traffic go by, as opposed to being locked into weekends and after 5 and banker's hours and that kind of thing. Another reason I enjoy the gig economy is because there are a variety of projects. And as a graphics person, you get kind of bored with the same logo, same color scheme, and the same branding rules, and being a brand ambassador, it really gets boring, to be honest. So I enjoy the variety quite a bit. I also enjoy the networking because I'm working in so many different industries. It's nice to talk to people who work in logistics, people who work in healthcare, people who are working in the engineering field. It's just been great. I've worked, name an industry. I've probably worked in it or somehow touched it. And that for me has been the spice of my professional life. I'm not a one-note person. I'm not a one-note team member. So I always bring in other experiences, and that all is the result of being a participant in the gig economy. Finally, the breadth of experience, which is kind of related to the last point that I made. You really do get the type and level of experience and the access that you don't get when you're plugged into a particular role and you're locked into that sort of in between where you can't really speak to upper management and, well, you're middle management, so you shouldn't be going down the ladder to consult with each and every person who does not have the same information that you have. So those are the reasons that I enjoy the gig economy. Join us if you like. The water's fine. It's a lot of feast or famine, I will admit, and especially now with the technology, layoffs, and so on that we're hearing about in the media, you really have to have your skills together and have something to offer other than certification. You really do need real world experience. You need to know people, and you also need to be insanely curious about the technology for a particular field. To make a point, I want to read off. I wrote down a list of all of the software I've had to learn or at least have some semblance of proficiency with in my career. And the list got longer and longer. But just so you understand it, inside the tech world, there's the baseline stuff, right? Like Microsoft Word and some of the other programs you probably already know about. That's fine. But then within an industry, you're going to find that there are platforms that are preferred by that industry. So I wrote out my list, and I'm really surprised. I'm impressed, but I'm also surprised, and I wonder if this isn't a jack of all trades problem. But what it does show a potential employer or potential opportunity is that I have the aptitude to learn and apply what I've known and to be effective. So, on with my list. I have done Python 3. I'm still learning code development. That's another silo in the tech world, and I'm not sure that I'm going to stay with it long term, but I'm enjoying it because I also know how to write HTML code for websites. That's the old school stuff. Script coding using Visual Studio Code is part of Python. Articulate 360, which is instructional design software, so on-demand learning and that type of thing, I design those as well. I can write the program and turn a curriculum into an experience online in the cloud. Learning management systems are part of that, so the grading of the performance grading of the learner is part of this, and then the record keeping so that they earn their certification points or whatever is required. I also have dabbled with Microsoft Dynamics CRM to customize customer relationship management, which is a huge area because you want to have that 360-degree view of the customer, their accounts, their purchasing habits, their payment habits, preferences are set. Email marketing is all part of that. Salesforce is now, it used to be called ExactTarget back in the old days, and Salesforce took over for the email marketing portion, which is now Pardot, I think. And that is what they use to engineer a marketing experience or a marketing journey for the customer. So whenever you pick out what you like and don't like, or when you set your preferences, then that information is going into a CRM to make sure that whether it is a marketing piece or informational piece or an accounts update, that the preferences that you've set are honored. iQuantum is for procurement. I used to work in purchasing, and I also worked in an engineering company, and I had to learn Procore. And Procore is great because it gives, again, a 360 view, but of the project as opposed to the customer or the client. I have a baker's dozen of technical skills, digital skills that I believe you're going to need, if not yesterday, certainly by this afternoon. And the first of them is web-based communication skills. You really have to learn to communicate in web-based applications, whether that's a Zoom meeting or a voice over IP application so that you can have a telephone that is not a fixed line, or just using Google Voice to send voice notes and things like that. If you are uncomfortable with it, just rehearse and practice with friends. It'll get better. I don't like my voice either. I think I have a very deep voice, and me trying to talk up like this doesn't work because it's just not me. So I have to learn to adapt to the communication channels that are out there now, and I hope that you're willing to do that for yourself. The second item is research skills. You really want to be able to research without using Google for anything more than a starting point. You can also say the same thing about Reddit or any of the other information or research platforms. It's great for starting points and kind of getting your notes and your outline together. But for the analysis, please try to do your own analysis, because your experience is worth something, and you may find that you're adding something new to the conversation. Third and fourth, social media for personal use and social media for professional use. Know that LinkedIn is not a dating site. It is not an app for you to use to try to do anything more than network professionally, as opposed to Facebook, where it's more friendly. It's sort of like going to the club or catching a friend at the mall or something like that. So know that there's a difference. And if you are running a business online, please do not repost whatever you put on one platform on another, because your tone of voice should be changing and your audience is certainly changing. So try to be sensitive to the actual purpose of that social media platform. Number 5, data use and backup skills. If you do not know how to handle data, many businesses will not want to hire you. If you do not understand the difference between a BCC and a CC and what happens when you email us all, then you are in trouble once again. Blind copy, by the way, doesn't work like it used to, so be careful with that. And some organizations I hear have eliminated the blind copy option because it's almost like spying on a person. So they're not really trying to support that. Excuse me. You also want to maintain data so that important information doesn't get lost. If you're responsible for it, make sure that you know what happens when and what happens if. Number 6, you want to understand the search engine's advanced features. So there are different types of searches. You have Boolean search. You have, oh my. You should also know how to even research to find an image. Where did it originally appear online? Do you know how to use those functions? Do you know how to drag and drop an image and add it and get it together? If I'm speaking Greek, get it together. You definitely need to know how to use your search engines. Number 7 is to set up an antivirus software program. You want to pay attention to the firewalls, the settings, and making sure that if you shop or you bank online, that you are secure in that environment and that you know exactly what's happening and that you get the virus updates. You definitely want to run those checks if they're not scheduled to happen automatically, or if your settings don't schedule them automatically, you need to do that for yourself. All right. Number 8, how to share and back up documents, particularly the large ones. That is a whole, you'll be digging for days. But if you understand Dropbox, or if you don't, look it up. That is a way to share or back up large documents. You just want to make sure you understand whether or not they have expiration dates, where they're going to disappear. If you need to pay a fee in order to maintain those files for your own records and archives, you need to know that going in. So please look into sharing up, backing up documents. Number 9, presentation skills. I'm still working on mine, but you want to really give a look at what it takes to present well. Is it the background? What should be in the background? I'm still working on mine. So you want to give considerable time to how do you look on camera? Should I wear makeup? What is the lighting? I have all these lighting. Listen, I have gone to every store and tried out different things. This is my ring light. And it comes as a set of 2, and it also has a holder for microphones. I just can't find my microphone, and that is upsetting to me, but it happens. So keep all of your, I'm trying to find it, oh here it is, to show it to you. This is the part where the microphone goes in, and then I'm supposed to be talking in it. But if you recall, I don't have a decent sound system, so never mind. Moving on. Infographic resumes. I have a piece on that somewhere in this video, probably a little bit later. I'll show you what an infographic resume looks like. You need to know what that is. And number 10, you need to be comfortable using email, of course, and email attachments, and to understand where you're saving those attachments to, how to open them. Please don't open them in the program. Save them first, and you'll get a better result. Okay? Number 11 is PDF file editing. I have heard more complaints and misunderstandings about PDFs. PDF is a portable document format, PDF. And what happens there is it kind of seals the deal. Think of a photocopy or a mimeograph if you're that old. And this is when you are not supposed to be able to edit the document freely. That has a footnote to it. Actually, you can. I can open anything as a PDF. I can open it. Now, if it is password protected, I cannot open it unless I have the password. If it is protected from editing or in any way redacted, I cannot open it without proper clearance to do so. But I keep my Acrobat Reader up to date and my Adobe Acrobat everything up to date, frankly, because I like to be able to edit it. I can go into a document and turn it into a digital form that someone can type into. I can do all sorts of things. So PDFs are great. And yes, you can actually open a PDF in a Microsoft Word file. Did you know that? So number 12, social media skills. Oops, that's a repeat. So let's go on to number 12, gaming and play. I love to play games online. I also keep apps on my phone. I'm gonna go over those in a little bit, some of the ones that I use. And that brings me to the Baker's Dozen of 13. The last item is really not for everyone. Not everyone wants to run an online store, but I would highly suggest that you at least understand at a very basic level what e-commerce is and what drop shipping is. You need to know because somewhere in your experience, you will have to interact with an online store of some sort. You probably already do with Amazon, but there are individual proprietors like myself. I'm still messing around with the store. Unfinished project, yes, another confession. Anyway, you really want to understand how to navigate that world because the business model is so different. It's nothing like we've ever seen in the past where the structure of a business plan is as effective a tool as we had. Well, now you kind of have to mix the plan in with some flying by the seat of your pants, but you can't do that if you don't understand what your choices are. So please take a look at e-commerce and just familiarize yourself with some of the ways that people are creating streams of income for themselves, residual income and retirement income. There is some software and there are some platforms that you should be familiar with and comfortable using. I've already talked about Microsoft Office, that whole suite, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, what's the data one? I can't even think of it in the moment, but anyway, you also want to know how to use the email platforms, Outlook, Google, Gmail, Amazon Web Services. There are a number of them. So please be comfortable with all of the tools, which would include the calendar and setting reminders, organizing online meetings. Remember, we talked about communication a minute ago. And also make sure you understand how to use different browsers. I am a Google Chrome raving fan. I do not like Microsoft Edge, but there are people who do, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but it's just your comfort zone and what you're used to. And most of the tools that I use are in the Google workspace, so it doesn't make sense for me to just keep jumping from one platform to the other, but you want to pick one and rather master it. I use also Firefox and Safari. Those I'm comfortable with as well, but my world is Google, so I pretty much stay with that. And another skill you will need in terms of software and platforms, in addition to the ones that I mentioned, some of them may interest you, some may not, but they all tend to have some sort of a mobile or smart device version. So if you have, as an example, you're using the Gmail account and you also use your Google Drive and Calendar, you want to replicate that environment on your phone so that you can quickly respond to any development or make changes as you need to. The video conferencing technologies, we've already talked about Zoom, or I mentioned Zoom, but there's also Skype, GoToMeeting, WebEx, Adobe Connect is also another one, Google Hangouts, and you think millennials know everything, don't you? Well, there was an article written by Diane Schaffhauser in 2015, and she wrote the following: digital natives aren't as tech savvy as they may think they are, at least not according to their employers. American millennials, those between the ages of 16 and 34, may be the first generation that grew up with computers and internet access, but all that time spent glued to a small screen hasn't translated to technology competence. While they spend an average of 30 hours every week on digital media, nearly 6 out of 10 millennials can't do basic skills such as sorting, searching for, and emailing data from a spreadsheet. That was in 2015, and millennials were between the ages of 16 and 34. Well, they're now between the ages of 23 and 41. So I think you stand a chance at catching up and getting around the curve, the learning curve. You can do it. Just get busy. Make a plan and execute it. I'm doing that now, trying to learn coding. It's a ride, but it helps me in other environments. Try. If you're trying to figure out where you are in terms of your skill set, I'm going to put a link in the description below, and you can go there to take a free anonymous technology test, just to see where you are and what you feel strong, where you feel your strengths are and where maybe you need to tighten up. So let's talk about tightening up. Okay? Thank you. I would suggest using the LinkedIn profile checklist because it will help you know and understand what prospective employers are looking for. If someone is looking for a business partner or just looking to network with you, maybe they need a speaker for a conference or something. There's certain buzzwords they're going to look for, and they're going to look for them in specific places. So that checklist will help you know what to put where and why. In addition to, there's another footnote for the LinkedIn, and here is the footnote. Please make a point of using current technology terminology. So if, for example, you were a desktop publisher, did you know that that is an outdated term and you need to be more specific? What are you publishing? Are you publishing documents, videos? Could be anything. So when you say desktop publishing, you're saying that you prefer a broom to a vacuum cleaner. Sorry, but that's the best I can do. You're going to have to stop using old terms. So stop recycling that old resume. It's not working anymore. And start looking for jobs that are identical to or very close to the job you want. Pick out the terms, the technical terms and the terminology that they use in the job description, and ask yourself if you're capable of doing that. If you are, please use the term. And also take a look at the technology associated with that term. Well, that's the end of the traditional resume. What you are looking at is an infographic. It is an infographic resume, which are now all the rage in HR practices, where they want to see a representation of your journey. They want to see your data, basically. So if you have anything that you've ever done to monetize, they want to see that in big, bold numbers so they can just sum you up, if you know what I'm saying. I like it and I don't like it for obvious reasons. One, I'm just used to the respect of a resume. Secondly, everyone is not talented at putting those kinds of documents together, so you're judging me based on how well I draw a picture, which now I, three, have to ask, are you really suited to work in human resources? On the upside, I'd say that it's good to be able to bring forward the details that you know they're looking for. It's just unfortunate that it does not really subscribe to the way the system, the throughput of a candidate is handled thereafter. So to have to create this document along with producing a resume now is, to me, a lot to ask a candidate to do, particularly if they have to invest in it. But I do like the look. I love the condensing of details and the unpacking of the relevance of the candidate to the opportunity. I have a set of games and apps that I love, and I'm going to go over those with you one by one. And again, please just live with this audio problem I'm having. To do a voiceover was a whole different situation. See you on the other side. Prezi is PowerPoint on steroids. It is such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful presentation tool. So while you're working on your presentation skills, what you'll love about Prezi is that it is not linear. So you can literally go to anywhere inside of your presentation, circle back, click on things. It's a cloud app, so you can download it to your laptop, but it's better to work in the cloud, honestly. And you can work with others on it. It plays videos, it does everything. And it really is a replacement in my world for anything to do with PowerPoint, with those bulky files and moving stuff around and it can't find. And if you don't have a connection, well, Prezi works from the web. So if you have, Wi-Fi capability, you're in. Pet Physics is one of the greatest games because it allows you to learn more about physics, and it helps you with your dexterity, particularly on a smaller screen. And it gets you used to the whole idea of touch and spreading things and moving things with your fingertips. It's also appropriate for children, so you're going to love that one. Dots is another one of those dexterity games, but it's also a strategy game. So you have to think about and plan ahead for what's about to happen. So if you're one of those puzzle enthusiasts, you'll love that game. If you really want to keep up with your health, Fitbit has the best app ever. You can even track what you're eating and how many hours of sleep you're getting, whether or not it's interrupted. I love that thing. GarageBand is another app, and it will allow you to live out your every fantasy of being in a rock band, an R&B band, blues, whatever it is. You can make music, also appropriate for children. If you play Scrabble, you understand the significance of that S, because when you don't have an S, somehow that 50-point word just eludes you. You have to mourn it, but get over it and move on. But Scrabble on the phone is the one. You get to play with other people. You get your skills together. You learn new words. They have a dictionary. You can actually use it during the game. And it's a lot of fun, Shazam is an app that I keep on the ready. I keep it on my home page, on my phone, my home screen on my phone. Why? Because I'm always hearing a song and I don't know the name of it, but I love it, but nobody can tell me what it is. So I Shazam it, and it collects it digitally researches the song and tells me the name of the song and who the artist is, and I can play it inside the app if I like. So there. This app is awesome. It's called Surfshark, Surfshark. Surfshark. and I use it as my VPN so that I can use routers or use the VPN connection, I should say it correctly, from one country or another. So if I plug in or if I start using the VPN for Surfshark in the US, I'm going to get ads on Facebook as an example. And there are certain channels that I can see. But if I use the same, I use a different VPN, say if I use one out of Venezuela, I probably won't get any ads out of the US anyway. And there is going to be a whole different playlist going on that side through that VPN. The algorithm may be the same, but where I'm plugging in from, where I'm connecting from, makes all the difference in the world. I love it. This app is called Trello. If you are familiar with Kanban boards, Kanban, Kanban. If you're familiar with those, this is the digital version. If you're not familiar with a Kanban board, Google it and check it out. It's a nice way to keep track of your projects without a lot of malarkey going on. And basically all you're doing is moving a task from one swim lane to another. And it really simplifies, and it even notifies people on your team when you've moved to another phase, or if you've added a note, for example. You can keep track of details, appointments, everything. But it is an excellent project management platform, also in the cloud. One of the best features in it is the drop and drag feature. So it's very intuitive to the computer skills you probably already have. Paper toss is a game, and you just basically toss the paper into the wastebasket across the room. You can be in a cubicle and the fan is blowing, which of course affects the trajectory of the paper ball that you've wadded up and tossed toward the basket. But it also has different settings and scenes, so you might be fireside and tossing the paper ball into the basket between the Christmas tree and the fireplace. Stuff like that. It's cute, but it's great for dexterity. It helps you focus. It can be relaxing, but it can also be just a little bit frustrating when you miss the basket too many times. I took a course online from Harvard, and it's in the edX, ED, capital X, learning portal. It's free of charge. It's a computer science course. It's the intro course that all Harvard students are required to take their freshman year. In so doing, I discovered Scratch, and it's a great tool to learn to program, and especially if you have children who you think have that aptitude, they can start learning as early as the age of 5. So really, Scratch is a great intro tool, in my humble opinion, to coding and what you're getting yourself into. Last but not least is iMovie. It's only available on iPhones or your iPad. It does not have a version for Android. I'm so sorry, but it just doesn't. But anyway, also appropriate for children, and it has all of the bells and whistles that you could possibly need to get started. And yes, all of my videos on the channel so far have been made in iMovie. So that's really a wrap. That's about everything I have for you today. Good luck, and I hope that I've at least shed some light on something that interests you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.